hygiene, hypocrisy, hypocrite, hypothesis, hygiene, hypocrisy, hypocrite, hypothesis, hygiene, hypocrisy, hypocrite, hypothesis, hysterical, idealism, idealist, idealistic, hysterical, idealism, idealist, idealistic, hysterical, idealism, idealist, idealistic, identical, identifiable, idly, ignition, identical, identifiable, idly, ignition, identical, identifiable, idly, ignition, illegitimate, illiteracy, illiterate, illogical, illegitimate, illiteracy, illiterate, illogical, illegitimate, illiteracy, illiterate, illogical, illuminate, illumination, illustrated, imagery, illuminate, illumination, illustrated, imagery, illuminate, illumination, illustrated, imagery, imaginable, imbalance, immeasurable, immerse, imaginable, imbalance, immeasurable, immerse, imaginable, imbalance, immeasurable, immerse, immigrate, immigration, immoral, immortality, immigrate, immigration, immoral, immortality, immigrate, immigration, immoral, immortality, immune, immunity, impair, impeach, immune, immunity, impair, impeach, immune, immunity, impair, impeach, impeachment, imperfection, imperialism, impersonal, impeachment, imperfection, imperialism, impersonal, impeachment, imperfection, imperialism, impersonal, implication, implicit, implied, implore, implication, implicit, implied, implore, implication, implicit, implied, implore, imposing, impotent, impractical, imprint, imposing, impotent, impractical, imprint, imposing, impotent, impractical, imprint, imprisonment, improbable, improper, imprudent, imprisonment, improbable, improper, imprudent, imprisonment, improbable, improper, imprudent, impulsive, inability, inaccessible, inaccurate, impulsive, inability, inaccessible, inaccurate, impulsive, inability, inaccessible, inaccurate, inactive, inadequacy, inappropriate, inburn, inactive, inadequacy, inappropriate, inburn, inactive, inadequacy, inappropriate, inburn, incentive, incessant, incidence, incidental, incentive, incessant, incidence, incidental, incentive, incessant, incidence, incidental, incidentally, inclusion, inclusive, incoherent, incidentally, inclusion, inclusive, incoherent, incidentally, inclusion, inclusive, incoherent, incoming, incompatible, incomplete, incomprehensible, incoming, incompatible, incomplete, incomprehensible, incoming, incompatible, incomplete, incomprehensible, inconceivable, inconclusive, inconsistency, inconsistent, inconceivable, inconclusive, inconsistency, inconsistent, inconceivable, inconclusive, inconsistency, inconsistent, inconvenience, inconvenient, incorporate, incorporated, inconvenience, inconvenient, incorporate, incorporated, inconvenience, inconvenient, incorporate, incorporated, incur, indecent, indefinitely, independent, incur, indecent, indefinitely, independent, incur, indecent, indefinitely, independent, indicator, indignant, indignation, indignity, indicator, indignant, indignation, indignity, indicator, indignant, indignation, indignity, indispensable, individualism, individuality, induce, indispensable, individualism, individuality, induce, indispensable, individualism, individuality, induce, indulge, indulgence, indulgent, industrialize, indulge, indulgence, indulgent, industrialize, indulge, indulgence, indulgent, industrialize, ineffective, inefficiency, inefficient, inequality, ineffective, inefficiency, inefficient, inequality, ineffective, inefficiency, inefficient, inequality, inescapable, inexperienced, inexplicable, infancy, inescapable, inexperienced, inexplicable, infancy, inescapable, inexperienced, inexplicable, infancy, hygiene, hypocrisy, hypocrite, hypothesis, hysterical, idealism, idealist, idealistic, identical, identifiable, idly, ignition, illegitimate, illiteracy, illiterate, illogical, illuminate, illumination, illustrated, imagery, imaginable, imbalance, immeasurable, immerse, immigrate, immigration, immoral, immortality, immune, immunity, impair, impeach, impeachment, imperfection, imperialism, impersonal, implication, implicit, implied, implore, imposing, impotent, impractical, imprint, imprisonment, improbable, improper, imprudent, impulsive, inability, inaccessible, inaccurate, inactive, inadequacy, inappropriate, inburn, incentive, incessant, incidence, incidental, incidentally, inclusion, inclusive, incoherent, incoming, incompatible, incomplete, incomprehensible, inconceivable, inconclusive, inconsistency, inconsistent, inconvenience, inconvenient, incorporate, incorporated, incur, indecent, indefinitely, independent, indicator, indignant, indignation, indignity, indispensable, individualism, individuality, induce, indulge, indulgence, indulgent, industrialize, ineffective, inefficiency, inefficient, inequality, inescapable, inexperienced, inexplicable, infancy,